I am Dr. Kimberlee Woods with the School of Mystical Arts and the Soul Alignment Community, and this is day 3 of the Masterclass Creative Energetics. And today we're talking about manifesting abundance. So I want to start off by asking our group today, what is abundance? And they're all unmuted, so feel free to just throw out any thoughts that come your way. What is abundance?
Abundance comes in many forms. I mean, you can have abundance of goodness, abundance of beautiful friends, or abundance of spiritualness. I guess that's what I think.
Could. Sue or Jeannie?
I look at it a little different because when I ask for abundance, I don't ask for abundance. I have to say what abundance is, because I could get a bunch of whatever, just like she said. And
Right.
So I don't just say, you want abundance? No, I want to say what the abundance is. So I have to clarify it, because otherwise you could get abundance of lack, because whatever mess you might be in or whatever. So I prefer to say abundance of whatever I need at the moment or want at the moment.
Right. You could have an abundance of drama.
Right, exactly.
Abundance of conflict. Like, no, stop.
Exactly. So that's
Right.
why I don't leave just abundance.
Mm-hmm. Well, and many people, when they're...
idea, I'm going to use that.
You like that
I'm
idea?
going to use that.
Yeah, that's good. Because many people, when they're thinking about abundance, they're usually thinking about just money, right? They're talking about they want a big bank account or they want a large flow of money. And certainly having abundance of funds that are in the positive, not lack of, but, abundance of money, financial support from friends, abundance of interaction, lovely interactions with the family. But Jeannie's right, being specific about what we're really looking at, and then what kind of abundance is that? Because it's not simply I have to have, I gotta have. This money is so minor, and this need or this I got to is going to probably be the thing that is going to hinder it from happening anyway. So we're talking about abundance of love, abundance of support from friends, family, and the universe, abundance of gratitude, abundance of opportunities to grow, opportunities to expand your consciousness, right? So we're really thinking about, like, in what way would I like to see this kind of overflow of energy that's in the positive realm for me, and so what other kinds of things can you think of that it might look like? We've named several. What else could it look like?
Well, even when you say the abundance of growth, that also could be a drama situation that you're stuck into. So it's like, what kind of growth do I want? I want it with ease.
Yep. So you're becoming, again, specific, right? Because sometimes I'm okay with growth happening through difficulty, but I don't want it abundantly over and over again happening from difficult situations. Those are typically the situations where we grow the most. So abundance of growth with grace and ease, right? That I can see the lesson immediately, that I can make the shifts if I'm going to make shifts, that I can change my perspective, but with smile and laughter. And I'm beginning to see, right, that these increments of growth are happening in an abundant way, but they're happening in a way that reflects my mastery of other lessons, right? That I'm not having to hit my head against the wall over and over and over again. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how manifestation works. Linda Shea, who joined us, she knows this already, and Jeannie, maybe you haven't heard it for a while, but I'm going to talk about seven things that have have to happen or have to be present in order for manifestation to occur. And then I'm going to show you some sacred geometric symbols, and we're going to say some phrases related to those, tying it back to Friday's talk. And then I just want to talk about, like, is something shifting or opening up for you? So one of the things that has to happen for you to manifest abundantly in the way that you want is you have to have a vessel, a vehicle, a container to hold the thing that you're trying to manifest. So I want you to think of something that you'd like to manifest right now. And then you can put it in the chat, or you can unmute and tell me thing that you would like to manifest right now. Chat or unmute, something you would like to manifest.
Clearing.
Clearing? Clearing,
Mhm.
is that what you said? Okay. So improved health, health. This is why some people will say never ask for healing. Ask for perfect form and function. I want to talk a little bit about the nuance of that, because healing is a kind of a focus on our physical body. Now, we are in a physical body, and there are things going on in our physical body. When we talk about perfect form and function, we're basically saying, I want to operate from my, I'm going to use the phrase original 5D blueprint, like how I was originally made in my perfection, right? My blueprint. I want to operate in perfect form and function. And so it's okay if you're using the word health, but health can have a lot of nuances. Health can mean a lot of different things. Improved health, like if we're saying I want improved in what way? How does improvement look to you versus someone else? So being able to say, like, if I said, hey, you're going to go back to your original blueprint and be that perfection, would that be great? Yeah. Right. We're operating with like renewed DNA and renewed to that blueprint, to the very specific blueprints of our thinking, our clarity, our bones, our muscles, all of it in a sacred form and function. But yeah, most of us are usually, especially as we're getting older, we're dealing with something in the physical body as it starts to sometimes fight against us. Gravity and elasticity of the skin and our ability to think, age, right? Just the things that happen. So as you're thinking of this thing that you want to manifest, you have to have a container in which you are attempting to manifest this thing. And if I don't have a container, when I ask, as if you watch the other 2 days, when I'm asking for something in the form of an intention, however you say it, you want to say, I choose to, and then have a verb. I choose to know perfect form and function. I choose to exhibit perfect form and function, whatever verb you want to use. And when we're trying to ask, not trying, but when we are wanting to manifest an intention, you want that intention to be held in a container, because what's happening is through the Stargate, information and energy is coming down and it's going to be distributed. Okay? So information is coming from the universe, from Mother Earth, from your Akashic records, from your DNA. It's coming from your higher wisdom, your higher self, your physical body. This information is coming based on what you intend. I choose to know perfect form and function. And you can even say my physical body. Maybe it's not just physical. I choose to know perfect form and function. But as you're asking for that, if there's nothing for that to be contained in, it's like taking this water and I'm going to pour it. And instead of pouring it into a glass or a cup, it's going to go everywhere. So you're asking for this energy to come in and it dissipates. So it's supposed to come in through the Stargate from those sources I talked about, Akashic Records, DNA, blah, blah, blah. Get distributed out. It goes to the recorders where there's libraries of information about perfect form and function, about a 5D blueprints, about we could just call it perfect health, let's say. And then an energy pattern is going to be created. So you want some kind of vehicle or vessel to hold that. So this is why people create sacred spaces. When you create a magic circle, when you create a sacred space, you are creating a vessel to hold all that energy to create your intention. I choose to know perfect form and function. Does that make sense? Because otherwise you're calling in energy and it's just going everywhere. The second thing you want to have is you want to be able to say what energies you want to have go and what energies you want to have come in. So, for example, do you want stagnant energies in your vessel? Do you want low vibrating energies? And it's probably not going to create this perfect form and function in the vehicle that you are working toward. And so you want to release. You want to release anything that's not in your highest and best interest. Low vibrations, self-sabotage, self-doubt, hurt and pain, stagnation, anything that might be hindering you manifesting this intention that you have in your mind or you wrote. And you also want to say what you want coming in. So I don't want just any energy coming from the universe or Mother Earth or my DNA or Akashic Records. I want high vibrational energy. I want light energy, energy that's filled with light codes. I want, what kind of energy is it that you want to bring in? I want it to be in alignment. I want it to be harmonized, in harmony. I want it to be pure, to have a purity factor. And so I'm beginning to think about and say what it is that I want coming in to help create this intention. Does that make sense to people? Yes, you have to unmute, Barb.
So I'm hearing you say identify things. To me, they sound like emotions or feelings. And so that is how you look at energy. It's part of an emotion or feeling.
No. A high vibration is having to do with the energy. I want energy that's high vibrating, because this energy that's high vibrating is more in alignment with the highest expression of me. Harmonizing or harmonization, we talked a little bit about this last week, means the inner me and outer me are in alignment, right? So I'm not saying I choose to know perfect form and function, but the inner me says I'm not worth it. Right? So I want harmonizing energies to come in. Purity, like purity of, not just my physical body, purity of thoughts, purity of emotions, so that I want the energies that are as pure as possible to come in. I'm not talking about pull yourself up by your bootstraps and try to make yourself pure. Like you can't even always necessarily know or remember all the parameters. But that's why we're going to make one statement, and that one statement will cover all parameters. The statement being, that I only want energies that will serve my highest good. Because it's not going to serve my highest good to have self-sabotaging energies as I'm trying to, I don't mean trying like I'm really working hard, but as I'm creating in my vessel. Does that make sense? Okay. All right.
Can I say something, Kimberlee?
Absolutely. Love it. Go ahead, Linda.
I love this because you know how important it is to me to be at that high vibrating level. And just this week, I've been seeing a new doctor, and we were talking about light, and he was talking also about how important the light is that we have been provided on this earth with the beautiful sun, and how important it is for me to be more, as much as possible, in the sun, because that is what is going to provide that energy, that vibration physically in my body. So here, if I am looking for divine perfect health, it's like, this is my goal, this is where I want to get. I have to do things to create that. It's not going to just happen. I've got to do something to make it. And so to me right now, listening to this doctor, it's like, well, I've really forgotten about all of that. So I've been spending, the last couple of days anyway, early in the morning, just sitting out in the sun and absorbing that beautiful light. And I've got a chair that sits right next to my patio door, which is facing east. So I get that morning sun, and just sitting here with my breakfast or whatever I'm doing and absorbing that light even coming through the window. So we need to develop that frequency, not just in our spiritual being, but also in our physical being. So thank you.
Well, sun is a purifier, right? We use sun oftentimes to purify crystals. Water is a purifier. Now, it doesn't mean that if you go drink a Diet Coke, that you cannot say to your body to only take what is of the highest vibration for you and to eliminate the rest. You can, right? But at the same time, we've been given a brain. And if I consistently drink Diet Coke, my outer and my inner, my subconscious and my conscious are not really in alignment, because I'm saying I'm going to continue to make a choice that is not in the highest and best interest for me, or not in my highest vibration. Does not mean you have to beat yourself up if you drink a Diet Coke or eat a Dorito, right? But, and we have the ability as God to say, I can take any food that I eat and transmute and transform it to be of the highest vibration for me. But we also have a brain, right? We also have a mind. We're also given this mind that tells us organic foods are good for us, non-GMO foods, right? Healthy fruits and vegetables, right? Clean meats if you're eating them without hormones, right? These are the kinds of things we already know. Thank you, Linda, for sharing. Third thing that you need to manifest, third piece of manifestation is making sure that communication pathways are cleared, open, balanced, aligned, and calibrated. So we have this center column of light, and sitting over our column are the 7 grid sets, the universe grids, the earth grids. These are the things I said where we're getting information. Our higher wisdom, our higher self, our physical body, our DNA blueprints, and Akashic records. And these are like, let's say they're like hula hoops, and they're to be aligned directly over our core of light. And when those are off, our manifestation, our intention has a hard time going to the earth grids, the universe. It has a hard time getting there. And the information and energy that we want to come through that Stargate has a hard time coming back. So this is one of the things that needs to be aligned. It needs to be calibrated. It needs to be clear. So it's not only just that, we also have communication pathways, Our chakras are part of those communication pathways where through our chakras, we are getting in information and we are sending out information. And those communication pathways and junction points, like where they connect and interact and interconnect, they have to be open. They can't be clogged. They can't be blocked, because we will not be able to get in the information and the energy to create the intention that we are focused on. So it's really important that we be cleared, open, balanced, not out of balance, balanced, aligned, and calibrated. And I'm going to say to the highest possible consciousness frequencies. Right? We want to be receiving the highest form of information, the highest vibrating form of energy. And once we've done that, we've got these things aligned, the grid sets, we've opened up our junction points, our communication pathway. You know, it's like you're trying to talk with someone and there's static on the line and you can't hear what they're saying, right? So you don't want anything that might be blocking. And then the fourth piece is connecting to source, right? So all of this is cleared up. It's lined. It's balanced. I said what's coming in, what can come in, what I don't want to have here anymore. I want this part to leave from my field, from my body. I have this vessel where I'm creating. I want to connect to source. So we want to, like, okay, there it is. It's clear. It's open. I'm connecting to source where all things generate. Make sense so far? Okay. The fifth piece is remembering that you are God. Now, some people still struggle with this, you know, mostly because of how we were raised in churches. You know, I'm not God. God is out there. But once we separate ourselves as something else is bigger out there that I need help from, you've basically said that I'm a victim in a way. I cannot do this. I'm not saying, again, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I'm saying you are God. And when you stand in I am God, when you are focused on your intention, then you can know that that intention is true. It's like, if you are God, you are intended, you are meant to create universes. You are meant to create worlds, galaxies, planets. That's your power that you have forgotten. So little perfect form and function, no big deal. Like, that's the power that you're standing in. Is why is Yeshua, Jesus, walking on water? Because it's no big deal. Right? It's just an element, and he's communicating with the elements, and he's working with the elements. Walk on water, don't walk on water, create wine, change and transform what is going on in a human body. It's just a piece. Now, you're not alone. Barb says it feels like ego. Like, look at me, I'm God. Well, the truth is it's ego not to. So the way the ego is oftentimes defined for us is anything that seems puffed up. But if somebody, I'm gonna give you just a little, we're gonna touch a little bit on this because you brought it up, Barb, and I thanks for that. Anything that keeps you from remembering who you truly are is ego. So if somebody sits there and beats themselves up all day, that's also ego. If somebody says judgments about other people, that's ego. If somebody forgets or does not know that they can actually accomplish something, that's also ego. So ego isn't just the one sliver that we've been taught, which is somebody we call them egotistical, which really we mean is arrogant. We're saying you're standing in this understanding that this is who you are. And when we came to this world, we forgot. So really what we're doing is we're remembering and we're remembering and we're remembering. We're peeling the onion and we're layering it back and remembering who we are, that we are God. And it is ego to not accept. So anything that that may seem at all in the slightest where you are not standing 100% in your truth, in your vitality, in your strength, in your knowingness, is ego. But also the person who is like, I'm so good. I am the best in the world. That's also ego, right? Somebody who doesn't listen to someone else, who cuts them off, who thinks that their way is the only way, who wants to be controlling. But also if somebody's living in fear, that's also ego. If I'm living in fear, I'm afraid that I'm not going to get, I'm afraid that something's going to happen, I'm afraid that I don't have enough control. That's also ego, because it is forgetting and denying who you really are. It's a different kind of conversation than what people are used to. So remembering that you are God. It's actually, when you say, I am God, like at first it's like a shoe that feels like it doesn't fit. But when you start to go, yes, I am God, it also becomes something where you feel like you're resting and you're home. And actually, for me anyway, the feeling isn't, look how great I am. The feeling is one of strength, but also humility. The one of power, but also a sense of responsibility. I know, Jeannie, you're comfortable with this concept, and Linda also. Do you want to add anything here?
Like, it's just that you don't want to feel less than.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I was raised Catholic, so it's always the less than, the struggling, the giveaway, and not receiving. So all of that is,
Mm-hmm.
so just remembering you are worth it, you are worthy, you are.
Yeah. Well, and then the Centers for Spiritual Living, they had like a box and it had 4 quadrants, and it was like, there's God, but God is over there and separate from me. And then it's like, well, I'm like God, so I have similar qualities, but I'm still not God, right? I'm still separate, and then God acting as me, but I'm still not God. It's like God has to work through me, or God has to move through me. But it's like you can kind of see how they start to get more comfortable with each thing. But then to say, I am God, is a completely different feeling than any of the other 3.
And
This is part.
also,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
And also thinking about saying to myself, I am God. It's not like I am putting myself in the place of the supreme divine God, or if we want to use that word God, or the divine source that is all and everything. And yet, if you think about the ocean, the ocean is huge, but if I take a little cup of water out of that ocean, it's still ocean. It's no different. I am that. I am, part and parcel of what that God is. And yes, you know what? I carry all of those divine attributes and qualities of who God is. So that is how I choose to live my life. It's a very, very different concept, because I too, growing up in the, traditional churches, it's like everything was, God is sitting up there in the sky pointing his finger at you, telling you, that you're worthless. And, and it's like,
You're always trying to do good to make God happy, or to do penance, or I'm a sinner. I've got to. Please forgive me. but it's not really how it's meant to be. That's like a system that was set up that actually keeps people quite oppressed. I mean, the conversation yesterday about clearing energies, you can't clear an energy from your field unless you know that you are God.
Right.
Because you can have a dead person in your field and you could say, you have to go. And they're like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I
Who are you to tell
was
me to go?
Right, I was
Right?
attempting to clear some demons from someone, and the person just started giggling and said, "We don't want to go. We like it here. This is pretty cool. Like, body feels great." And I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Your time is up and you have to go.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
but if I'm like, oh no, it's like there's no need to be. It's just an energy. Like, this energy is done and has to go. And that's why we're keeping track of what's going on in our field, like what is happening in
Absolutely.
here. And I'm the one that has to stand in the authority and say, it's time to go. We worked with pendulums yesterday. Now, some people can work with a pendulum and they can give it all kinds of authority. And then you forget that you are God. Like, it
I'm the
doesn't,
authority of what's going
you're
in
the
that
authority,
pendulum.
right? It's a collaboration. It's a co-creation. It's a work that you're doing with it, but you're the one that's in charge.
Right. And I just want to say one more little thing. It doesn't even
Yes.
have anything to do with this. I just want to say hello to my sister Sue, who is here with us today. So grateful you're here. Haven't seen you in a long time, so it's good to see you.
Yeah. Sue's been with me every day.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Hello, Linda. Good to you.
Yay. All right. The sixth part that is part of manifestation is balancing powers. So there's a balance of power that goes on with us that is a balancing of not only masculine and feminine energies, it's a balancing of giving and receiving. This is actually something that came through the Templars, that powers need to be balanced within, because if we're in a victim mentality, whatever our intention is going to have a hard time manifesting. If we are in a perpetrator mentality, and none of us want to think we're ever in a perpetrator mentality, but we all can go there. So if we end up in an imbalance of our masculine or feminine expressions, our giving and receiving, if we have powers within us and they are out of balance, then manifesting isn't going to happen. And then the last step is standing in your mastery. Now, I get that most people are going to go, I don't even have a concept of that. And neither did I. It's something that takes time over time. But there are these lesson threads that in our last 13 at least plus 1,000 years, we were working on. Lesson threads of being in the present moment, of having trust and faith in our own inner truth, trust and faith, love of self and others, creatorship, knowing how we create, understanding support from the universe, understanding the creative process, joy, living in gratitude, power, having that balance between masculine and feminine, giving and receiving. Intuitive abilities, open intuition, having inner sight, inner hearing, inner feeling, inner knowing, intergalactic knowing. So being connected to how we co-create with each other and how we co-create with the universe. Wisdom, higher wisdom, what it means to be one. What it means to be free. All of these kind of lessons and lesson threads that when we master each one, we begin to stand in our mastery. Now, this is a journey. It's not something you're going to have by tomorrow, right? If you're somebody that's always thinking ahead about, fretting about the future, thinking about the past, regretting, wishing it was different, beating yourself up, then you're not grounded in this present moment. If you have a hard time trusting your intuition, trusting what you get from source, trusting your connection to spirit. Maybe you say, I don't even know if I have a connection to spirit, or what it looks like, or how to develop it, right? So those are all things you're going to work on in a journey. Loving yourself and others. Sometimes we're really good at loving others, but sometimes we think we're loving others and it's not very, I'm going to use the word emotionally autonomous. It's codependent rather than having independence and coming together. Or loving ourselves, where we, how many times I'll say to people, is that a loving thing to do for you? Is one of the ways I finally could make a shift for myself is I had a therapist a long time ago that helped me to see, mirrored back to me, that the choices I was making were not very loving toward me. And I began, this is why people do all that inner child work, is being able to stop and say, how could I love myself fully and completely? Mastering something is knowing something, but it's like knowing it to the core of your being. It's mastering these lessons or these concepts of love, of creating. That we create, not, it's like all these people that will say, I have to pull myself up by my bootstraps. I'm in it alone. You're never alone. We're all one. We're interconnected. You have all connection to every bit of information you will ever need. Every single connection to every resource you will ever need. It's at your fingertips. Wait a minute, but then how do I get it physically here? Right? How do I get it? How do I get perfect form and function? Or how do I get payment for my mortgage? Or we are one. We are interconnected. Everything is available. So what is in the way? It's you and me. It's you and me. Another question came up, is ego a part of that reptilian energy? For sure. There were Lyran Wars. Part of the Lyran Wars came through that reptilian energy, and they brought with it, Lyran to Orion, with it a victimizer mentality. Do I need to say more? Victimizer mentality. Think about all the ways in your own life or people you've ever talked to that struggle taking responsibility and want to make it about somebody else. If you just did this, I would feel better. If you just fixed this, I wouldn't have a problem. If you never did this, or if you did do this, I would have felt love. If you never did this, I wouldn't have felt this pain or this hurt. That's victimizer mentality. It's rampant. And COVID just, you're to blame. If you had only gotten vaccinated, then we would have had herd mentality. If only you had not gotten vaccinated, then we would, at both sides, finger pointing, anger, separation. It's just not, it's not doing us any good, right? It's not helping anything. So being able to be a master is mastering your intuitive abilities and those pathways and connections, having that balance of power within. It's all of that is when you begin to master all of those lessons and concepts, understanding that freedom isn't freedom to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, to whomever you want to do it to. That's not freedom at all. All right, Linda.
I'm so appreciating your review of all of this, because this is such a major part of my life. And I'm so grateful for having learned all of this 3 years ago. And as you said, it's not something that just happens overnight. This is a work in progress. And so I'm thinking about what's happened over the last couple of days for me about this healing thing, and feeling like, I've learned that, I'm on my own healer, Well, yes, I am, but I still need to allow others to help me through the healing. And I've always had problems with the receiving end of things, which is why I think, my major thing is the power. It's like I'm really good at giving things away or giving, information away, but allowing it for myself, but allowing people to share with me about, where is a good place to go for someone to help you through this healing. And this week I found two different people in particular that are facilitators. They help me to see where it is that I am, what it is that I need to do, because I don't know those things. So I really appreciate that. So this program to me is, I think, one of the most amazing things that I have done in my life. And Kimberlee was my teacher. Actually, we kind of worked through this together in the beginning, and forever grateful because Kimberlee is a teacher. So I'm so grateful. So
Linda's talking about components of a program called Sacred. I use it in coaching along with other things. But it's a great way to accelerate yourself through these core lessons and to line up your field, your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, and your physical body so that you can manifest your intentions in a really, really quick manner. And the amount of growth that happens, the amount of acceleration that happens through using sacred and other parts of this is phenomenal. I mean, I was doing all kinds of mystery school work, healings, teachings, but nothing worked as well or as fast as the components of sacred. And I remember saying to myself, we're going to do it right now. We're going to look at sacred shapes and say some statements together. But I remember saying, we're going to say together, I know I am a master. I'm living in the light of my mastery. I am the master of my physical vehicle. And I remember saying that. And there was a time when I was like, ew, like that. It feels like the shoe that doesn't fit right. And then there was a time when I was like, oh, I'm saying this and I can feel it, where I was working I was like, I'm struggling. I've had codependent relationships. I'm going to clean this up. And as I would say it, it was like, wow, I am beginning to step into my mastery. I am so clear about my subconscious and consciousness and bringing them in alignment so that I am manifesting my life. I really got to the point, and I know I can help anybody get to this point, where you manage your life. It doesn't manage you. Where you are so clear about your intentions and clearing up that disconnect between your subconscious and your conscious. You're not just saying one thing and doing another. Where you're standing in your mastery so that when you are saying your intentions, your affirmations, when you're visualizing, you're bringing it into fruition so quickly. Let me share the screen with you. There it is. Okay. All right, let's go here. All right, so we're going to look at this first shape right here, the one that's called Divinity Grid. And you're going to look at that and you're going to say this statement. I'm a divine representation of sacred form and function. Make sure you say it out loud, not just in your head. Okay? That just created you as the vessel, the sacred divine vessel that energy is going to come into and energy patterns will be created in to manifest your intention. Now I want you to, we're going to imagine some colored bubbles going around you out maybe 9 to 12 feet. And it's just going to be a bubble and then another bubble outside that. And so each bubble is going to be slowly outside the one before it. These bubbles represent the core lessons, the lessons of grounding. And I'm going to say, you're going to imagine this colored bubble and I'm going to tell you what the energy is that you're going to put around yourself in your vessel. Okay? So you're going to start with violet, a violet bubble around yourself, and that represents grounding. And outside of that, a blue bubble for trust and faith. And outside of that, a green bubble for love. Then yellow for creatorship. Orange for joy. Pink for power. Red for intuition. Sea foam for co-creation. Indigo, I was like, where did it go? Indigo for wisdom. Magenta for higher wisdom. Turquoise for unity. Silver for freedom. And then finally, a gold bubble for mastery. All right, you're going to look at this second symbol now, the integration symbol. And you're going to say this second line here, I only receive and integrate energy that serves my highest good. I release all other energy with grace and ease. I'm grateful for this. I just said what can come in and what has to go from my vessel. Third, sacred geometric shape. This is called the light quotient symbol. There's a whole story behind this, how it was developed, where it came from. You're going to look at that symbol and you're going to say the statement, I am cleared, opened, balanced, aligned, and calibrated to the highest possible consciousness frequencies. Okay, everything's lining up. Now I'm going to look at the fourth symbol, the golden unity symbol, and I'm going to reach up. I am one with divine source, and I'm going to connect into source. I am one with divine source. This fourth symbol, I want you to, because I took it from the card, I want you to imagine this symbol flipped the other way. Right, so you're going to imagine it flipped this way at first. And it's going to feel a little weird. It's Egyptian. And it is connected to the emerald tablets. It's a key from the emerald tablets that places you firmly, it plants you firmly in your godhood. We're going to say it really guttural, masculine. Then we're going to do kind of sing-songy, feminine. And then half masculine, half feminine. So here's how it goes. This is what it looks like in English. I, ra, mut, ra, it, nak. Okay, so say that out loud in that guttural, you're standing in your godhood. And then we're going to look at it back the way that it was, upside down, and we're going to do it in a feminine sing-songy way. I, ramut, ra, it, nak. And then back to the masculine, but only half of it. I, ra, mut. And you're looking at it now again this way. Sing-songy. Ra, it, nak. Literally translated from the Egyptian, it means, I am the sun god Ra, and the goddess Ra-it of black light. Black light meaning like the womb in which things are created. It's the bringing together of the masculine and feminine. The Egyptians were well known for creating. You can also exchange the masculine and feminine for the masculine and feminine name of your higher wisdom, which you do have a masculine and feminine name for your higher wisdom. It might be something you have to explore, though. All right, the sixth one is the Templar balance of power symbol. You're going to look right here, and you're going to say, I am holding the reins of benevolent power in balance in my field with grace and ease. We're going to say it 2 more times. I am holding the reins of benevolent power in balance in my field with grace and ease. 1 more time. I am holding the reins of benevolent power in balance in my field with grace and ease. And now the last one is standing in our mastery. So you're going to look at this top left symbol, and you're going to say the words, I'm integrating mastery of the core lesson of mastery. Now the top right, looking at this symbol, I know I am a master. Bottom left, I am living in the light of my mastery. Bottom right, I am the master of my physical vehicle. All right, very good. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left, and I just want to talk a little bit. How'd that feel? Either speak or chat if you want. It's the seven steps.
Really.
Yeah, 7 steps of manifestation. It's really lining you up to manifest like this, especially if your intention is clear. And the more work you're doing in mastering each of those lesson threads, you will just be like this in terms of growth with grace and ease and manifestation. Anybody else have something they wanted to say, or if you want to write in the chat, that works too. Okay, so in terms of now this manifestation, there are things that help to encourage flow in manifestation. She says, it feels great, but I know I need to do it daily. Yes, exactly. But it's something that this is the first time I've ever shared all 7 symbols with a group. I haven't done it. And I think it's because it's new paradigm. I usually will only share steps 1 through 4. It was originally, according to Spirit, in particular, 5, 6, and 7 were meant for what they called Christed beings. And there's probably some kind of contract or something with Yeshua or whatever, but we're in the new paradigm, and it's time. We're all standing in who we are. So what encourages flow? We're going to do an abundance integration exercise. Some of you have seen this in some things that I've posted before. So we're going to do that in a second. But there's also other things like releasing attachment to any outcome. So if you, for example, have an intention around, I'm just going to say around money coming in, okay? You don't want any attachment around it. And a lot of times people are like, when's it going to come? Is it going to be as much as I want? How am I going to get it? And there's all the fear and the fret and, I think it's going to come tomorrow. Like, you have to let all of that attachment to go. No timeline. You can't have a timeline on anything. Like, I knew I was going to get a settlement from a legal thing. And, I'm looking at my bank account and I'm thinking, I'm watching my bank account get less. And I could be afraid and I could fret and I could be worried. And it's like, it's going to come exactly when it needs to come. And it's not when I say it should come or when I think it should come or how I think it should come. So you want to let go of any timeline. You want to let go of how, okay, there's this manifestation, and you're thinking now specifically money, right? A manifestation of money. You don't want to sit there and say to yourself how it has to come. So when I was sitting in an abundance workshop once, and he's sitting there saying, you want to manifest a size 12 Nike Pro Air shoe, and you're sitting there saying, like, this is what we do. Well, I'm going to have to work I'm going to have to work overtime. Maybe I can go mow somebody's lawn. We calculate how we're going to get the thing that we desire, that thing that we want. But we are all connected. We are connected to every source. What makes you think that it can't drop off a truck and you open up the box and there is a pair of size 11 Nike Pro Air, right? They're like, we do not want to limit in what way, shape, or form anything is coming to you, whether it's friendship, connection, opportunities. Don't say to yourself, it has to look like this, because you've just limited the universe, right? So don't say how it has to come. You can see maybe where it could come from. Like you might say, start to calculate, I can see it could come from this, come from this, come from this. But I'll tell you, the universe is a lot more creative. It'll have so many more opportunities, ideas, and ways. So let go of this attachment and just sit in a state of bliss. You are supported. Sit in that state of bliss of receiving how blessed you are. Start making a gratitude list. I'm grateful that I can walk up and down the stairs. I'm grateful that I have enough thinking ability that I can actually teach a class. I'm grateful, right? Just going on with what you're grateful for and remembering that you are supported. All right. So I'm going to do an abundance integration with you. All right. Can everybody see that? Yes? Can you see? Oh, that's fear release. Sorry. Let me do this one up here. All right. So I want you to take a look at the symbol that's on here. And you're going to say, I choose to integrate, connect with, and maintain an energetic foundation. There's this foundation of energy, foundation of beliefs, a mentality, emotions. All of those are lined up. My beliefs, my thoughts, my emotions that only support being in a perpetual state of divine abundance. Now you're going to read this affirmation here. I am integrating, connecting with, and maintaining an energetic foundation of beliefs, a mentality, and emotions that only support being in a perpetual state of divine abundance. And then you're going to picture yourself in a state of abundance and actively lost in laughter and joy as if it's happening right now. I picture myself putting my face in Bodhi's belly and rubbing it because it brings so much joy. And I picture myself laughing with my friends. Oh my, they're so smart and they tell these amazing jokes. And I'm just filled with joy and laughter. All right, now we're going to do some tapping, and the tapping is going to bring in energy into parts of our body. Okay? So you're going to tap on your heart chakra, your hairline, sacral, which is 2 inches below your belly button, between your eyebrows, back to your heart chakra, hairline, above your lip, sacral, below your belly button, above your lip, between your eyebrows, sacral again, between your eyebrows, sacral again, bridge of your nose, between your eyebrows, top, back of head, base of skull, right here, thymus, which is between these two right here, thymus, thymus again, base of skull, top, back of head, and your tailbone. All right. I got 1 minute. I'm still going to do this. We're going to probably go a minute or two over. I skipped fear release, but I can post it for anybody who wants it. I want you to take a look at this image right here. And I picked as our intention today, I choose to know I'm supported by the universe. I know I am supported by the universe. This first one's an intention, and the second one's called an affirmation. So you're going to stare at this for 5 seconds, and it's like you want to commit it to memory as much as you can, so when you close your eyes, it's as if you can still see it in your inner sight. So close your eyes now and see the symbol with your inner sight. And imagine that you are taking that symbol and you're going to project it into your solar plexus. That's about 2 inches above your belly button. Project it into your solar plexus, and then after that in your thymus, which is right here, your sacred heart. Solar plexus first, then your sacred heart. And I want you to see it light up in both of those areas as though it's activating all of this energy within you. And now you're going to state the affirmation on the card. I am inviting the universe to support me in all ways. Have the expectation that that energy in your thymus and in your solar plexus that's associated with the symbol, that it's like a homing beacon. And it's going to now, within you, it's going to be drawing in universal support. Now I want you to repeat after me. I believe that the universe maintains perfect energetic balance. Universal law allows living beings to stay aligned with the universe's perfection. The universe influences my energetic equilibrium. I am fully supported by the universe. And finally, as an empowered creator, I'm able to align balanced universal energy flow with the vision I choose. I want you to make an agreement with yourself to let all these energies from the universe to be gifted to you, for them to align with your highest potential. And you're going to release. You're going to release all energies that don't serve you. You're going to release it with gratitude and forgiveness and love, so that they can't sabotage your success. And then we're going to finish with this statement. With deep gratitude, I invite the universe to support me in meeting my goals by delivering energy which assists me in bringing my intentions to full fruition. And that ends our masterclass, day 3. I don't forget to do the homework so you can be put in for the drawing. I am going to do one more day tomorrow of Q&A. So if you had questions, you didn't get them answered. If you want to do more one-on work or go, like I love delving deeply into something, we'll go there. So it's going to be the same time tomorrow. I have talked along the way about different classes that would support. We talked today a little bit about coaching and about sacred, but there's a lot of classes where you can just get a little taste of it. So if you say, I want to work on manifestation, there's actually a laminate that focuses only on that called Empowered Manifestation. It's an hour and a half. I think the class is $80, and I'm giving 10% off for anybody this week that orders anything. And if you want to do one-on-one work with me, please IM me and let me know. Okay, so tomorrow Q&A. Don't forget to do the homework for the free drawing. And thank you, everybody, for your comments, your questions, your input, your interaction, and for just being here and participating. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Kimberlee. Love
Thank
you so
you.
much.
I love you too. Bye, everybody.